Hello, my name is Andy Grimshaw. Welcome to the first of the tutorials on the GFFS client basics. Here you can see some of the assumptions and goals that we have for this set of tutorials. We're going to assume that you've already installed the GFFS and that you have an identity. You're going to need that as you go along. We hope to show you here how to interact with the GFFS in a basic way, how to move files in and out of the GFFS. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by starting up the grid client using a shortcut that I have on my desktop. And as we go in, we're going to see that we have a basic command line interface. I take a look at the command line interface. I can type help, I can do GUI, I can do a directory listing on it, etc. But what we need to do first is we need to log in. So I'm going to log in. It normally will do a default for you, but I want to log into a particular user identity and path, so I'm going to use my xcg.virginia.edu identity and Andrew. I type in my username. And then I type in my password, which I previously stored in a copy buffer. Note that you can also type all these things in the command line. If you go help login, it will tell you how to do that. So now we're going to start up the client UI. Of course, first I need to learn how to type. Now we're going to start the client UI. It's going to fire up in just a second, and it's on our screen now, and we see the GFFS namespace. What we can see is that there's home directory, bin directory, groups directory, all kinds of things. We have some options that we can invoke at the top. We're going to go back and forth several of these over time, and there's also help, so we can go to the help menu in just a second, and we'll select one of these, and we'll show that this takes you to the online help as well. And from there you can get to lots of different help. This happens to be some online help through the web. Anyway, we're now going to go down into my home directory. There's home xcg.virginia.edu. It's going to Virginia. Finding my home directory. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a couple of simple things. Keep in mind I'm in Germany right now, and all of this stuff is in the United States. So I've selected FS proxy, and we can see the read, write, and execute permissions and who has them on this particular file. And I'm in fact changing the read permissions. I'm deleting somebody from the access control list. So that's a real simple way you can see that. I'm also opening a directory called Rice Hall, which is just somewhere out there in the cloud. We don't necessarily know where. I'm going to double click on it and open up this particular picture, which is a picture of our building in computer science when it was being built. Some of these you might have noticed are gray and not yellow. Things that are gray are what we call exports. That means that they're actually a directory on some other machine elsewhere. Big Deer in this case is a directory on my PC back at the University of Virginia. And anything I do to this directory is going to have an effect on my machine in Virginia. Of course, access is subject to access control. LXNM20, on the other hand, is a directory on my machine here in Germany. And I'm going to open a file. I'm going to edit a file called Hausaufgabe. It's my first homework. It opens it up in Word. Note that it is doing this in using the suffix .docx and using whatever the operating system has set for the association for that file type. So whether it's a Word document or a PowerPoint or a sound file or whatever, it will just open the right kind of file for that. So we've edited the file, we saved it, and now when we double click on it the next time, those changes will be there. And that's neat. That means we can use the environment as a general sharing, safe, secure sharing tool with our colleagues all over the world. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show you how we can move data back and forth between the GFFS and the local desktop. So I've just picked up a file called Hausaufgabe and I dropped it on my desktop. I'm going to double click on it and see it's in fact the same file. So now we're going to delete it. Then we're going to show that we can go the other way. We can drag and drop a directory from my desktop into the GFFS, and it's copying that data. Oops, because I didn't grab it. It's copying that data into the GFFS, and in a few seconds it will be there. And we can see that this directory called dtop is there. It's just a bunch of files I've been working on lately. We're going to go ahead and delete that as well. Note that this actually put the files in a directory on my machine in Germany, and when I deleted those files, they get deleted from that machine in Germany. So now what we're going to do is we're going to show So we're going to some of these options in here. We can copy a directory, in this case the glider picks, also using a GUI, this part of the GUI interface instead of drag and drop. It pops up a browser. I type in where I want it to go, and that's on the desktop, and you can see the icon of the folder appeared. The files are being copied in. We're going to double click on that in Windows, and what we'll see pop up is the files that we just copied down. Those are a bunch of picture files from soaring, to grad student soaring one day. So let's throw that away. So we can generally just copy files in and out this way. We're now going to copy a directory in off of my desktop as well. It doesn't have to be on the desktop. It's just easy for me to remember things. So we're going to take that dtop directory again, and what we're going to do is we're going to copy it into the file system environment right there. So there it is. Again, it's copied in. You can see it. We're going to delete it again because I don't want to leave a lot of garbage around. And then we're going to let it clean up. And now we're going to look at some other possibilities of things that we can do with respect to access control and things like that. So we're going to pick a file here, any file, that one in particular. We see once again the read, write, and execute permissions on it. Suppose we want to add somebody to be able to read that file. Well, the most common thing is we'll just drag and drop their user ID in there. There's a chmod command from the grid shell as well, but this is what we're going to do. So we're going to take Istvan, who has an account in the gffs.eu, and we're going to add him to the read set for this file gffs, breaking down barriers. So we drag it over there, it's updating the ACLs, and in just a moment we'll see that the ACLs have been updated. So meanwhile, we're going to also go down and take a user called Peter Zinterhoff at Salzburg. And what we want to be able to do for Peter is we're going to add him to the write access for that file. So we're going to go over here in just a second. Go to a different file. We're going to add him to the write set, also to the read set. And there that goes. I recorded the video and audio separately. In any event, here we're now going to go down and see we can do the same thing with groups as well as with user IDs. We're going to go into the XCG groups. I could have created my own group, by the way, but I didn't. We have a security video that in more detail on what your options are. This is just sort of a quick show. What we're going to do is we're going to add the GFFS AMI group to the read access on license.txt. And I'm going to drop it. There it goes. And it's going to update the ACLs on that file. ACL stands for Access Control List, and that's it. So that's the basics, the real quick version of working with the GUI. I hope you enjoy using the GFFS. Look at some of the other GUIs, the other videos. Thank you very much.